The link is on the comments. Go join us over there. And,
what's up, guys? Welcome to Car Talk Podcast 31. Today we're here with several other YouTubers. We have. I just got a commercial blared in my ears from my looking at the comments. Since Jeff's laughing, we'll start with Jeff from Get Exhausted. You have what? What car do you have again? I can't remember.
I've got a 2010 Volvo S40. It is one of the few vehicles on the road today that is all-wheel drive and a manual transmission. I'm still rocking 3 pedals, and I will not get rid of them until my doctor takes them away.
That's a nice car, man.
Nice.
Thank you.
And then we have Martin. Are you going to turn your camera on, or are we talking to the talking car again?
Talking car for a second. So I'm Martin. I own, I run.
No, I'm doing the intro because you're going to take 5 minutes to do it.
Okay.
Martin has a 2004, right?
No, 6, jackass.
Oh, 6. Sorry.
Oh God!
Don't call me jackass. 2006 Pontiac GTO that's slow as shit, and then
you fucking asshole. Hey, at least I have a car, jackass.
Hey, I was just getting payback for calling me jackass.
Oh my God.
Okay, that's all we're telling you about Martin. You'll have to go to his channel and figure out the rest since he's being mouthy.
My girlfriend has a 2014 Stingray, and my mother-in-law has a Q50S 2014.
Okay. And go over, you know what? Everybody go over to Martin's channel and like flood him with comments to get him to get his ass back to making videos because he's slacking lately. Then we have Emilio, who you have a Grand National, right?
1987 Grand National.
And his channel is Venom GT87, right?
Yep.
Just double checking. Okay, and then we have Gregory Salvatore, also known as Waldo. that was a good intro. Greg has a V6 Camaro, and you also do videos on your Bug too, right?
What's that?
You also do videos on the Bug too, right?
Some, not really. I'll do videos in the Bug. I don't really have it. It needs to be cleaned up.
I think you should do like an honest review of it.
You have to go to the flower store and buy a thing for the center console.
Yeah, get out and push it to get it up to 60 miles an hour.
Well, I mean, and then we have
either
Sean
that or
from
pull it up the hill and then let it right down the hill.
Then we have Sean from Novataz, who has a Nova, which you guys could see right there. He's got his long hair, and and then he also has a Trans Am and then a Dodge Ram. We got Jesus. We got Jesus in the house.
Guys are.
You know you'd say
Here's
the
the
same
Kid Rock
thing.
look.
All right, we're going to go into our first topic. So, what's everyone's thoughts on the Genovation GXE C7 Corvette that is fully electric? But here's the thing. It's $750,000, and they ripped the 6.2-liter engine out of it and replaced it with an electric motor and 5 individual battery packs with over 800 horsepower and 700 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, and a top speed of over 200 miles an hour. They can achieve these speeds because they keep the transmission from GM, which I am very surprised about, that they kept the transmission that was already in it, which I believe was the 7-speed manual, if I remember correctly. And then...
or the 10-speed, depends on what one they kept with.
No, they don't put the 10-speed in the Corvettes.
It wasn't, yeah, and the 10 won't fit in the Corvette.
Yeah,
it's a mistake.
I think it's a neat concept.
Yeah, what are they doing? Hold on, is this thing a concept? I haven't even heard of it.
It's the way I see it. It's a neat concept put together by a company with too much money. But for $750,000, the people that are going to be buying that car are in the same market for a 918 if they can get an allocation for one. It's you get a much better car, a much faster car. Okay, so the car can do 200. But again, like you said, you're running on stock transmission. It's an electric car only. So you get, 4 laps around the track, and then you have to recharge it. So it's not – it's a toy at that point. It's not anything that you can show off. You can't. Okay, you can do one time around the ring and you're done.
It's more of an engineering exercise for them. That's all it is.
He's exactly right.
I would
They're
love to see
probably
one.
doing is trying to sell the design.
Hold on, everybody. Hold on.
We need to talk.
Jeff's trying to talk. Greg's trying to talk. Martini's trying to talk. One at a time. Jeff, finish off what you're saying, and then we'll go to Greg. Then we'll go to Martin.
I get excited with stuff like this. I grew up in the backseat of a Corvette. So to me, Corvette is the lifeblood of American muscle. So you're changing what that's built about. But again, like Amelia was saying, it's an engineering concept. You're proving a lot of theory. And, someone's doing a scientific experiment. Would it get my money? Absolutely not. But I think it's a phenomenal idea.
Okay, Greg, what were you saying?
Well, I mean, this is a concept, and what they're probably doing is trying to sell the design to GM. It may even be backed by GM, because if I did a video just a couple months ago saying that the mid-engine Corvette's not a mid-engine Corvette, what it actually is a four-cylinder hybrid, and this kind of is that same kind of thing. And I was just joking when I said it, but the fact of the matter is, at some point, GM has said they're going all electric. So at some point, the Corvette has to go electric. And you cannot do that overnight. You have to gradually bring people into it. This is what they do, because if GM presented this, then GM would get crucified for it. Would you go to an outside company? You let them present it, and people go, oh, okay, that's an idea. And I think that's what this is. I think this was probably backed by GM, and as a project to eventually bring the Corvette to electric.
Do you think that this is sort of the same thing what Chrysler did when they introduced their super bike with the V10 Viper engine? When they allocate a company to produce something for them, and basically back them, like you just said. And they come up with the design, the structure, everything. Basically, they develop everything without actually involving GM. Because, like you said, would be a mistake to just all of a sudden introduce it without having anything to back it up with.
This is to get the Corvette people on board. Yeah, it is possible. That's all this is.
Without having GM having to be completely in the freaking news.
And actually,
that actually makes a lot of sense, to be quite honest.
Say that again.
What were you saying, Emilio?
No, that I'm trying to get to the comment section. So I'm looking at the comment section on your section on your live stream on Google, on YouTube. I mean, just to get people talking as well, because we want them to join in.
Yeah, of course. Like you
were saying, Greg. With it being a way to get GM and get the feet wet in the electric vehicle world, if GM was backing it financially, and again, we all know they're tight on money, but if you're trying to draw people in, same kind of thing. $750,000, if I'm buying a Corvette, that's out of my market. So it should almost be done like the original Veyrons, where Volkswagen lost who knows how much money on every car sold, but it was that engineering project to get it where it was today.
Heck, we don't even know if the new ZR1 is going to be selling at the price point that they have.
This isn't to sell. This is to get Corvette buyers on board. This is an exercise, and they need to put a price on it, because if somebody's going to say they want it,
for sure. But again,
maybe 25 years from now. But at this point in time, we all like our V8s. Like, don't even try and come up with this new mid-engine with the twin turbo mid-engine. Don't even try and do that, because
you mean combustion engines in general. Everybody likes them, period.
Yeah.
Yes. Never mind, I'm not going to go there. So let's see. Linchester says if it was 50 to 60 grand electric Corvette, I may want one. And then 87 National says waste of money.
Yeah, it'll never be that low of a price if it was ever, put out there.
Why not?
Electric vehicles in general cost too much to freaking produce.
Well, they do.
Yeah, especially the electric battery.
Freaking expensive.
The electric battery is nuts and expensive. The only person that's been able to market that electric capability is Tesla and Rimac.
And look at their
Uh,
logs.
the really funny thing is how much they talk about going green with these electric vehicles. The amount of non-green they are just to produce the batteries and to produce these cars and make these cars
Dispose of.
is ridiculous compared to what the economic footprint a gas-powered car produces just to make.
Well, just disposing a battery after it's had its life cycle is more toxic to the environment than disposing just a normal gasoline engine.
Well, if you guys watch the Grand Tour and Hammond destroyed that electric car, that electric supercar, they were talking about how that car caught fire for 5 days straight. They had to keep putting it out because what happens is in a crash, the cells they short out and they catch fire.
Yeah,
So
they keep shorting out one cell after another.
yeah,
I want to add to that the cell on that car was not supposed to do that. Quote unquote. I don't know if you guys read the press release that they had to do.
Yeah,
with,
I saw
Hammond about that.
I saw the interview, but the fact of the matter is that do you really want a car that? I mean, these electric cars catch fire in accidents.
Well, I didn't even know about this. I don't know if you guys ever heard, but apparently even Tesla has been catching on fire with the batteries. They've been working on solving this problem, even though they haven't had too many, incidents. But that is an occurrence, just like cell phone batteries.
Well, yeah, that's what I was just going to say. Haven't you ever seen a cell phone battery? It's the same technology, just on a larger scale.
Yeah.
Actually, I have something here that.
If you have ever seen the the hydraulic press channel, where they smush stuff with a hydraulic. If you ever seen them smush the cell phone batteries, you see how explosively they catch fire.
I can believe it.
Which is what happened in an accident. The batteries were compressed together. The cells leaked into each other, and it was an uncontrolled reaction versus reform. It's a controlled reaction.
Yeah.
And by the way, the car that Richard Hammond crashed was, again, a Rimac Concept 1.
And it was also in prototype stages.
Yes,
no, that was a customer's car.
It was?
It was.
Yeah, it was a customer's car. But they're still
I bet that
prototyping
customer
that.
was pissed.
Oh, I'm sure.
He'll get the newest 2.0.
I'm sure.
Yeah, I wanted to show you guys. This is what's inside of the Tesla battery on their cars. Thousands of these.
Right, the little lithium batteries.
Yep.
Some guy sits there in the shop putting AA batteries in a little.
No. I wish it was double A's. No, these are those lithium. This is for my gimbal, and pretty much it's like an oversized AA. But yeah, this is exactly what's in those. And if you ever see, I don't know if you're into mechanical.
Are they like big D batteries?
Say what?
Are they like big D batteries?
No, they're
no. They're
double A's.
Where's my ruler?
He didn't catch my joke.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, Martin.
Yeah,
I thought,
Man.
in the automotive industry, I thought we liked triple A's. I thought they were the ones that always save nuts.
Well, now they even have those dry cell batteries. Have you seen them? Where they have no acid?
Yeah.
Hey,
a lot
Greg,
of the
you
cheaper.
asked on the feed, what's up with your outfit?
He must have not been at the call out.
Well,
Oh yeah, Jacob. If you watch any call-out video, you will see him. He was dressed as Waldo for a purpose.
But if you've ever messed with any of the cheap generic like double A's and B's and stuff, a lot of them were dry cell as well. Nothing in
So do we
them.
have anything else we'd like to add on the electric Corvette topic? Like, does anybody in the comments have any, thoughts about it other than the ones that have already said something? And do you guys have any other thoughts on it?
I think it'll fail unless that's something that's gonna do well in about 25 years.
I think with Tesla, we all saw what Tesla can do as far as performance with what's his name's car, the call out.
Jeffries,
Garage
yeah.
With the X.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from a customer standpoint, no, I don't think that car is going to sell very much. It's too expensive. It's more of a gimmick than anything else. But from an engineering standpoint, you know, people are going to take notice that these electric cars have a lot of power, are very fast, and especially with sports cars where you're not looking to get a whole lot of long travel time out of them. Because I mean, honestly, who puts on a supercar? Nobody.
To be honest, the one thing that GM is going to end up having to do is, if this electric powertrain comes out with this car, they shouldn't call it a Corvette. It should be like the new flagship supercar. You know,
I think this was more of just a test, and instead of engineering a whole car around it, they already started with the chassis. It's a lot easier to start with something than to start from scratch.
right? Because that means you have to pay for more development. I understand that. I get it. But I think that later on, when everything has been perfected, or they have it where it's to their liking, they should change the, I don't know, turn it into a high performance Cadillac for all I care. But stay away from
because then you're going to have the whatever the ELR, no one's going to buy it.
Well, I don't know, but just stay away from Corvette, man. They're going to screw it up. It needs to stay on the convention engine.
No, they have to. The Corvette is going electric. GM has said they are going 100% electric. The V8, the combustion engine is going away as far as GM's concerned. So they're not going to get rid of the Corvette. It's got to be electric at some point.
I forget where I saw, but I think it might have been Car and Driver where they were talking about even Mustang being electric in the incoming years.
Yeah, Mustang's supposed to go hybrid by 2020.
Everything is going to go electric because that's just where everything's going. Period. No matter how much us want to complain and piss and moan, it's just a matter of when.
I have to disagree. Agree to disagree with you there because it's going to be a matter. It's going to turn into something of a matter of nostalgia, and I think that because of nostalgia alone, there is still going to be combustion engines running around. You might not see like new models coming out or anything, but you always have combustion engines around for at least.
That's not what I said.
That's not what he said, though.
I didn't say that like cars like mine aren't going to exist anymore. What I'm saying is you're not going to see any new gas-powered engines at some point. It's going to be converted to electric or some other form of energy source. Yeah, it's just a matter of when. Is it going to be 5 years from now? Is it going to be 10 years from now? Is it going to be 15 or 20? It's a matter of when, but it will all eventually go that way. I mean, we may not even have wheels, eventually.
They've been promising that since the Jetsons.
Yes, I know this, but you know what I mean. It's one of those things. The gas-powered engine is a dinosaur. Yeah, they're making it more efficient. Yeah, they're making more power out of it, but it's still an outdated technology. It will eventually fall to something that is even more efficient and consumes less. So, we can piss and moan and complain all we want. It's going to go there eventually.
Well, hopefully by the time that happens, I will be an old man and ready to die.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, so on to the next topic. So the new Supra is set to be revealed in March. Jeff?
Yep.
Yeah, he was walking the dog.
Oh, yeah?
He took the dog out.
That's what she said.
Yeah, his dog is running his life. Did you hear what I said?
What'd you say?
I said his dog is running his life.
I'm not even touching that one. There's a certain 5-letter B word that would run in that.
Oh, yeah, but
Sean,
here's spy shots.
Sean's wife runs his life.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Here's spy shots of the new Toyota Supra that is supposed to be, keyword supposed to be, revealed in March. I'm not 100%. Greg, which auto show is in March?
March.
I don't know. Philly's in February, and New York's in April.
The fuck's in March? Because I know it's supposed to be revealed in March.
Unless New York is the very end of March.
What's the Detroit auto show?
That
Detroit's
just happened.
Yeah, that just happened. Detroit's over with.
Let me look.
Yes, I don't pay attention to big auto shows.
Yeah, but what's everyone think of the new Toyota Supra? It's supposed to be a collaboration with BMW.
Yeah, well,
Can you make that picture bigger?
John,
Ah.
before we go into that, there's something we can look here and see if when the New York Auto Show is, because there might be a chance that's the end of March. And since the YouTube pack has a whole site around car shows in the area,
like a really good idea, Greg.
Good idea, Greg.
This is like Street Speed and his merch plugs.
Start shameless merch plug here.
There we go. So the YouTube pack
don't forget the clickbaiting
car shows, and as you can see, coming up this week is the Pennsylvania Auto Show and its location and who you can expect to see there from the YouTube pack.
Let me guess. Street Speed is going to have his McLaren there with Troy Sowers.
No, that's going to be that's next month.
No, they will be at the auto show this week.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was
with the two McLaren.
In fact, they're delivering it today.
It's Geneva.
Hold up. I think the comments are getting pissed at us.
All right, so New York is March 30th, is the New York Auto Show.
Wait, hold up. Matt Rosenthal in the comments says it's going to be at Geneva.
Oh, okay.
So,
sorry, Matt, and quit calling us assholes. Come on now.
Interrupting our merch plug. How dare you?
Oh God.
But yeah, definitely check out the YouTube pack for all the car shows and pretty much the East Coast almost, where all of us are located.
There's Israel. Also, electric cars have instant torque, and actually, that's something that I wanted to argue about. We're already past that one.
Since we haven't gotten far into the Supra topic, just go ahead and say what you want to say on that, Emilio.
Nothing. The thing that I was gonna say when Sean and you were going back and forth was that I actually think that there might be a market, but not at $750,000, because I have seen personally and ridden in a Tesla, and that is an experience,
Yeah, I still have yet to ride in one. Jeffrey was actually supposed to give me a ride in his at the call out.
I'm gonna tell you right now, it's the weirdest thing, because there's all you hear is road noise. Like even if that, it's just road noise, and you're moving forward. You're just teleporting forward.
Well, yeah. I mean, we all saw the call out. I mean, it was absolutely hilarious. I mean, it was just gone, and all you could hear were the tires sticking to the track as it went down.
Like removing scotch tape,
No, you want to know what the funniest part was when they ran the Tesla? When Christian accidentally launched in reverse. That was funny.
Going on the track, boy.
It's like, what was the good thing is that there wasn't a big crowd of people behind him like it did later in the freaking thing. That could have went bad.
Yeah,
and that was the bad part about that call out to begin with, is the fact that they were allowing everybody that close. I mean, that was a safety hazard. I mean, we were lucky nothing happened at that call out.
Yeah.
He almost turned it into a Mustang. Like a transformer. Sorry, Christian, if you hear this podcast.
They're probably not going to watch it. But back to the Supra. It's supposed to be co-developed with BMW and have a BMW engine. I'm still not, I've been hearing so many different rumors that it's going to have a manual, it's not going to have a manual. I have no fucking idea.
In other words, they're going to completely fuck it up, and then it's not going to be it's not going to be a Toyota anymore.
Pretty much.
Point. At that point, it sounds like it's going to be a rebranded, bodied BMW.
Right. That's
Pretty
exactly what
much.
it's going to be.
Looks like an
So
FRZ.
where is the Toyota heritage? Where is the Toyota engineering? Where is the Toyota? Everything that made the Supra. The Supra of what it was back then to begin with.
Toyota has went in the shitter when it comes to performance.
Well, that's their own problem. Maybe they should, maybe instead of, piggybacking off of BMW, maybe they should go back to the drawing board and start figuring something out.
Well, look at their last
Who's eating
sports
chips?
car.
At this point, though, there is not a single auto manufacturer out there that isn't stealing, robbing, or working with another manufacturer out there. I mean, did all the trucks a couple weeks ago, and it literally looks like they just took all the trucks, put them in a bag, shook them out, and then put them out on the table.
Well, I thought that was a
Because they
Silverado.
all look almost identical anymore. I don't care if it's a car or truck. All the cars and the trucks are starting to look so close together, apart.
This thing looks...
What was the car that we saw the other day? It was a really expensive car. Was it an Aston Martin? I don't know, but the key fob is a Volvo. I think it was a Volvo key fob.
But that's the old one.
Yeah,
It's not the new
but I
one
mean,
anymore.
they're just using each other's leftover parts. So
You gotta
I mean,
understand that that's the way the manufacturer works. In fact,
well, that's what I'm saying. Is there's nothing that's ever true. Like I mean, geez, back in the '80s, everything in a Pontiac was the Pontiac. It had a Pontiac engine, it had a Pontiac transmission, and then you get to the '80s, and they're all just a generic GM, drivetrain. So I mean, now they're even not even keeping the same brand.
Put LS in everything, pretty much.
Basically, they might as well. I mean, that's basically what they're doing. Let's stick a BMW in a Toyota, and then we'll call it a Toyota, but yet it's a BMW underneath.
I'm not worried. Somebody's going to do an LS swap kit for that thing as soon as it rolls out of the factory.
I won't be surprised.
Give it the proper American treatment, right?
Okay, I got a question for everybody. So, someone I'm not going to name because I don't want to give away something, but what do you guys think of a 2JZ swap Fox body?
oh yeah, I remember somebody saying about
there's
that.
a 2JC swapped Grand National, actually.
Oh shit!
Really?
Yeah. The guy's in, I think he's in Georgia. I'm actually trying to do, I tried to do an interview with him, but he didn't get back to me on time because I was actually down in that area right when he started posting pictures about his build. But
okay, so that brings us to another topic. So
something like that in the Fast and the Furious movies, the Tokyo one.
Yeah.
They put in an RB. Ford. Yeah, they put an RB. Wasn't it an RB that they put in the Ford?
Actually, yeah,
and the Mustang.
Right. It was the Nissan thing.
Yeah.
It was the Skylines.
No, it was a Japanese motor and an American muscle car.
I don't think everybody in the comments
opposite of what everyone does.
I don't think everybody in the comments is liking the 2JZ Fox. Jay Jackson was like, did someone say Fox?
RB26 DET Mustang. That's what it was. Somebody in the comments said it.
But my thing is, where is this thing getting the torque to move a body that heavy?
I don't know.
Whoa, what are we talking about here? Are we talking about the Supra again, or what are we talking about?
No.
The Mustang.
Let's swap the world.
Motor in an American car.
Oh yeah, true.
You got to put bigger turkeys in
I don't
there.
know how they did that in the Fast and the Furious movie. I mean, I don't know how much horsepower that motor makes, but a lot of torque to move a body that heavy.
Yeah, but I mean, how much horsepower does it have? Because you're also gotta take into account.
Horsepower doesn't get things moving. That's everybody's all focused on horsepower.
Oh.
Horsepower is top end. Torque is what gets you moving. That's what gets you. That's what puts you in your seat is torque.
You got that right, but you also got to think about it. Horsepower is the amount of work. Think of torque as work, and horsepower is the amount of work you can do in a certain amount of time. So the more horsepower, the higher your horsepower, even if you have less torque, you're still going to move faster because you're doing more work
after you get rolling.
Huh?
After you get rolling. But
Oh,
the thing is,
you're breaking in and out, dude. I can't understand what you're saying.
I said after you get moving, yes.
No, right from the get-go, that's how horsepower works. I do this for mechanical engineering, so that's like when I learned this, because I used to think that like that. When I learned this, I was mind blown because I was like, no, torque is what moves the weight. No, the way it was explained to me in layman's terms was that horsepower is the amount of work you can do in a certain amount of time. So for 1 second, if you have, let's say, I don't know, just throwing numbers out here, 200 pounds of torque, and you have 1,000 horsepower, and then you have 200 horsepower and 1,000 torque. The car with the highest horsepower is going to move quicker because in the same amount of time, it's doing more work.
Okay, but if you still have a car if you have two cars that have 600 horsepower, 400 pounds of torque, and the other one has 200, the one with 400 foot-pounds of torque is still going to pull away. And it also depends on weight. If you have a car that weighs 3,500 pounds,
right? But
okay, and you stick that.
You got to think of it this way. Think of it as a ratio. If you have 2 to 1 and then 1 to 2, the 2 to 1 is always going to be higher.
Yeah, but you need to have an excessive amount of horsepower to overcome the torque loss.
Not necessarily. Even a little bit, 100 horsepower over on, let's say that you have two cars with the same amount of torque and a car with a little more horsepower.
That's not what I'm talking about.
No, I'm saying like backwards. One has more horsepower, the other one has more torque. In the same amount of time, whichever one has the calculated number or ratio is going to move quicker, which is usually going to be the one with the more horsepower. Like for example,
you're not listening. You're talking. You're talking about an engine designed to move something that weighs around 2,000 horsepower. It's around 2,000 pounds. Trying to move.
I like how the other guys are just like watching, like laughing back then, like.
Oh, I'm sitting over here going like this.
All right, whatever.
So, are you guys gonna put down the measuring tapes?
Wow, Martin.
I can't find it. I'm just playing with you, man. But yeah, did you? Are any of you talking?
Okay.
Well, they're both important, torque and horsepower.
No, definitely.
I mean, regardless.
Okay, so Sinister Shelby in the comments says, "What if one has 7.73s and the other has 410s?"
3.73s.
You'd want the one with the 410s to have a lot more horsepower because that's going to have to spin more to get the same amount of revolutions.
It's all relative. It's the same thing with having bigger or smaller wheels on your car.
Yeah.
How much resistance is going to be in the drivetrain or
Winchester
in the wheels.
actually thinks 373 would be faster.
They'll have a higher top speed. Right? Isn't 410 will pick up speed quicker, but
that's the thing. Is that if you were talking about identical cars with different gear sets, it all like the 373 might get off of the line quicker if it can grip it and then still move forward. Or I mean the 410 if it can still grip and move forward because it's taking less effort for it to move forward. So in other words, you're increasing the horsepower number.
Wait, let me rear ends. A 373, this is my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. A 373 will not pick up speed as quick, but it will have a higher top speed. Whereas a 410 will pick up speed a lot faster, but it won't have as high a top speed in the same car.
Correct. You'll run out of transmission gears. It all depends on the car, but yeah, you'll run out of transmission.
I just want to make sure I'm getting.
Or red line, whichever way you drive. Because some people some people say you'll run out of gear. Some people say that you'll run out of engine. So
yeah,
what by that they mean is either running out of RPM.
Okay, so let's move on to our next topic, which is kind of related to what I brought up. In your guys' opinion, what, Martini?
Look what I found.
Oh, there's the inside shots of the electric Corvette.
Oh Jesus! What do you do? Take a Corvette to the? Hold on, is this from the concept pictures? Or is this the ones from that company in California that makes them?
There's a real car somewhere. I don't know where, but
oh, that's in California. There's a company that makes them.
Yeah.
They made what was it? Man, I can't think of the name of the car.
I think I remember seeing them with Jay Leno.
Yeah, they actually same. Just now they had another advertisement with them because they made like a G wagon, like the Mercedes, the brand new G wagon, all electric.
It's funny because it looks kind of like a ZR1 before the ZR1 came out.
So on to our next topic. What do you guys think is some interesting engine swaps?
It looks like an amplifier.
How about this? How about this? Put a Voodoo engine in a Camaro, and a ZR1 engine into a Mustang.
That might go controversial, but just totally swap I think it'd be interesting.
But that would be crazy, you know what I mean? Just like we've seen the Prius with the freaking Corvette engine in it, you know?
No, or the the Prius had the Hemi in it.
No, it also had. I've seen one with the LS engine. It had a 5.7. I have a picture of it somewhere. Yes, yes. In fact, I've seen a PT Cruiser with the Hemi engine.
Wait, how the hell did a Hemi fit in the PT Cruiser?
Well, they transverse it so it's gonna have rear power in the back. No more forward power.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm looking at it right here. Holy crap!
It's kind of crazy.
Wait, hold up. Emilio, show us since you can screen share.
Oh, I'm trying to do the screen thingy. Hold on.
Winchester just said a Prius with a Harley engine.
So here we go. Can you guys see that now?
Cart? Yeah.
Yeah, we see it.
Holy crap, dude.
Yeah.
It fits. That's amazing. I'm amazed that there's still space for the headers.
Mm-hmm. I'm surprised it's not in like the inside of the car or inside the car like the vans.
You mean like
Holy
this?
Crap, look at that one. You know what, Emilio, search in Google interesting engine swaps and see what shows up, just for the hell of it. Let's just see what the fuck shows up.
You have that freaking Honda that had the blown big block in it.
Well, you got a Ferrari on a what is it, a FR86 or whatever the hell that Scion thing is?
Yeah, I remember. Remember I showed you that video, Jonathan?
Wasn't it like a drifter that did that?
Yeah, exactly.
What is this? A BMW engine, a Mazda RX-7.
Good Lord. Wait, is that an LS and a Porsche?
LS and a Porsche?
Yeah.
They've been swapping Corvette motors into the.
Oh, I actually saw this one. This is a diesel caddy. This thing is crazy. I don't know if you guys.
Oh yeah, that's right. You know what I saw? Look this up. It's a Dodge Charger with a Cummins engine and a Camaro with a Power Stroke engine.
That's different right there. North Star,
definitely different.
What'd you say?
So look up a Camaro with a Power Stroke engine. Somebody did this.
Wow.
There's a Chevelle out there with a Duramax.
It's a 2010 Camaro. The only way you know that it's a diesel, the backside of the exhaust is just full of soot.
Hold up, go to the top and do Power Stroke swap. Maybe it'll come up better.
Yeah, they're right there. Look on left.
Oh, shoot! Hold on.
See, there they are. That Camaro, the red one, and the white Charger.
Yeah,
those are them right there.
Oh, I actually read about this. There's some shop that does this.
Yes, it's in the Midwest.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's an old school Chevelle with a Duramax in it.
Actually, hold on.
Chevelle Duramax?
I've
Diesel
seen that
battery
one run
here.
down the drag strip.
Wow.
How about this? A V10, the Ford into a Mustang.
Ugh.
That would be a crazy swap. I don't know how they would fit it in there, but
Okay, so Linchester says a 2JZ Corvette.
Oh, you would have so many people rolling over in their graves.
Oh, yeah. He was like, you don't see that every day, which, I don't know. Has anybody ever done that? Put a
I don't
2JZ
think
in a
you see that
Corvette?
any day.
I don't know.
So did the screen share end? Because this thing doesn't. I can't tell if it ended or not.
Yeah, it ended.
All right.
Anybody else got any other interesting engine swaps that you can think of? Greg, I don't think you came up with any,
Nothing.
did you?
Nothing newer.
You know,
I mean, I have some old school stuff that was done.
there's nothing new because cars are throwaway.
Everything's just
You don't
everything's just been
Why?
done.
like we've talked about in the past. I would not put a V8 in my car. I would sell my car and buy a V8 Camaro. It doesn't make sense to do it anymore.
Unless you're talking new school drivetrains and old school cars.
Yeah, well, in an old school
Well-
car, yes, but in a new school, it's pointless.
I think
In
one of
fact,
the craziest motor swaps that I've ever seen done was, I'm not sure if you guys remember the big old Cadillac 500s, Fleetwoods,
Yeah,
8.3 liters, and they swapped it into a Chevette.
Jesus.
I
800
remember
horsepower.
those coming with a Corvette engine back in the day.
800 horsepower, 1,000 foot-pounds of torque in a Chevette.
Jesus.
This wasn't like new. This was back in the 70s.
yeah.
You don't have all of the suspension technology and all that stuff that they have now. They literally took front-wheel drive Cadillac 500 motor drive and literally stuck it in the back of a Chevette.
Wow.
I've also seen another swap kind of similar to this, but it was definitely not as safe. They did the front engine, rear wheel drive, but it was literally engine, transmission, rear. There was no drive shaft. The transmission cooked straight up to the rear end of the Chevette, and the engine literally sat. They're only the first like 2 cylinders were underneath the hood. The rest of it was behind the firewall, sitting next to you.
Wow.
Because I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen a Cadillac 500 engine. It's a big motor. It's low and it's wide. So I mean, they'll actually fit underneath of a you can put them in a Camaro and it'll fit underneath the hood. They're really low, but they're wide. You just don't have any room to put anything else under that hood.
Wow. So for our next topic, what was the first car everyone went over 100 miles an hour in, and how old were you?
I'm ashamed of this one. Well, actually, no, I can't say that because I can almost guarantee you what car it was. But as far as I can remember as an adult, it would be a different car.
Okay, what is it?
As far as a kid, I guarantee you any one of my mom's muscle cars, whether it was the Trans Ams or the Mustangs that she had. But as an adult, it was a 93 Fox body. We went 100.
This is supposed to be the first time you ever drove 100 miles an hour.
Oh, I ever drove.
Yeah.
Regardless of your age.
You meant the first time that you've ever gone over 100.
No.
No, you
Let me
drove.
rephrase the question.
Like, you drive the car.
What was the first car you drove over 100 miles an hour, and how old were you?
95 Ford Escort LX. Did 115, and I was 21.
The youngest to ever gone over 100 here? Maybe? Holy crap.
Martin, what about you?
1990 Chevy Corsica.
Just about almost any new car can go over 100.
How old were you, Martin?
I was like 12 years old.
Wait, how old?
Like 12.
And you drove it?
Damn.
Yeah, I drove it. My parents were gone. So back in the day where I live here in Albuquerque, there's a desert that's called the Mesa. And so as a kid, I grabbed my parents' spare keys and I would take the car, and that's how I learned how to drive by myself. That's what we Mexicans do. I'm sorry. That's how we roll.
You couldn't get away with that anywhere up here in PA. There is nowhere here in PA you could have gotten away with that without getting busted.
You gotta understand that's the 90s here in New Mexico, bro.
That's at 12 years old.
But you gotta understand that's 1990, bro. Like that's back in the day. You know.
Well, thanks for making me feel old.
You gotta understand. But back then, it was a whole different time. Now you can't even do anything. Like back in the day, if you were drinking and driving, they would just take you to your house and escort you there. Nowadays, they're taking you to jail now. Hell, you can't even speed here in Albuquerque without being taken to jail.
In the 1990s, you'd still be going to jail here in PA.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg, what about you?
1976 Camaro, 17 years old, hauling ass up Route 33 to the Poconos to try and catch some friends that were going skiing. I had two other buddies in the car. It was about 33 degrees out, right on the edge of ice. I get up to the ski resort, and I have a big guy, like 300 pounds, sitting in the front seat, another friend in the back. And the big guy, he's got one hand on the dashboard right out in front of him, big paw right on the dashboard where the airbag would be today, and the other hand grabbing the bottom of the seat. He gets out of the car, I reach over underneath the seat on the passenger side, and said, "Holy shit, Jason, there's freaking grip marks underneath my seat."
Wow.
I think that's by far the most. It's the same dash that's in my freaking TA.
Okay, well, since Emilio's not back yet, mine was a 2005 Buick Century. And I think I went 115.
That's probably before the
You found a Buick that went that fast?
Oh, yeah.
Was it downhill?
I can't find anyone behind them.
Hold on, Greg. Listen. Here's the thing. No, I could have got it to 120, but a car popped up in front of us, so I had to hit the brakes.
I
think the governor would have kicked in at 119.
I drive around behind Buicks, and they don't even do the speed limit, let alone over 100.
That's because of the driver.
Well, I mean, that's because old people drive Buicks. So.
But
yeah, I think I was either 18 or 19. I don't remember which one. It was one of the two.
I'm not sure if anybody else would know why this is significant. Greg, you're probably the only one that would know this one. Going from Philadelphia, now I'm not sure if you know where Ridge Pike and Henry Avenue are in Philadelphia. It's up in Manioc.
No.
Rich part of Philly. To Reading. Okay?
Okay.
35 minutes. And that was in that Escort.
Yeah, that's hauling.
Yeah. That's doing averaging 110 miles an hour.
Okay, so I'll tell you a story. My wife's father lives in Indiana, and we're living together, whatever. And she has a '95 Honda Civic, brand new, and we got to go out to see her dad. So I'm going to drive in the middle of the night. I'm like 25 years old, if that. No, I'm younger than that. Like 23 years old. I'm driving through the night. I hate traffic. I'm going to drive through the night. So I pick her up at work. She works second shift. Picked her up at like midnight, and we left. Went up to 80. As I'm driving through 80, I start doing the math that if a 12-hour drive, for every 10 miles an hour you go over the speed limit, you save an hour. So I start flying. We were supposed to show up at noon. I got there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
This is why I don't freaking travel 45 miles an hour to work.
So, Amelia, since you're back now,
what's that?
What was the first car you ever drove over 100 miles an hour in, and how old were you?
That I ever drove.
You must
I
have
gotta
been
think about
13
that
or
one.
something.
Because at 100, I mean, probably my Grammar Keys. I had a 94 Grammar Keys, and that thing just. I think that's probably the one, but it was one of those where the speedo ends up at 85, just like my Grand National.
But how old are you?
17, 16, 17, around there.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what, Emilio?
Okay, so
What kind of
Actually,
Mexican are you?
it's kind of funny. The reason why I got into cars was because of my buddy Israel, who's actually in the comments right now. Well, I think he is. I don't know if he's still there. I haven't seen him comment in a while.
But here in the comments, let's go through some of the comments about what everybody else had to say was theirs. So, Sinister Shelby says over 100 and a 91 Mazda Protige, or however that's pronounced.
Protege.
Yeah, he said it registered 140. The speedo hit the needle and the tach was still climbing, and then he said he was 16. And then Wicked Fab says 86 Camaro and was 22 years old. And then I think Will Galvin says Toyota Echo, but he didn't say how old or how fast.
Echo can get up that fast?
Oh, I know what car that is. That thing's
it's a little
tiny.
Three-cylinder. It's like a little three-cylinder. Possibly four, but it's a really small four. My buddy's mom had one, and we used to go from Rummelsdorf up to Bloomsburg for the Bloomsburg Nationals, and I would follow her Echo, and I had my Nova on the road at the time. My God, that thing could not get out of its own way if there was a slight incline.
Yeah, I remember that car's so tiny
incline.
that you can touch from side to side without getting out of your seat.
You can almost push it over with yourself. You can almost pick it up and push it over. But yeah, I can't see how that thing went 100 miles an hour because it could barely sustain like 80 miles an hour.
It's like a Geo Metro size.
Smaller.
But it was a Toyota. I remember receiving one of those as a rental back in like 2000. My car was being worked on, and I just went back and I was like, you know what? I can't drive this. You need to give me something bigger than this crap. So they did.
I can't even put a bag of chips in this car.
And then RT IID22, I think that's how that's pronounced. I have no fucking clue. Sorry. Says on the way back from the Keys in a 97 Corolla.
Man, back then we wanted to put a supercharger from one of the vans, Toyota vans. Forget what it was called.
A Sienna?
Was it a Sienna?
It's probably a Sienna.
No, there's a supercharged van that had the engine like under it. I believe it was. And we went looking through junkyards all over Florida for that stupid thing, and every single one that we found was either not supercharged or it was already gone.
It was probably a work van, wasn't it?
No, it was actually like a family van. I don't know. He can probably come up tell you. He's a friend of mine, RTI D22.
Previa, yeah, there you go. He just said it.
What was it again?
Toyota Previa.
Kind of remember. What year was that?
What year was what?
The Previa.
The Toyota Previa.
I have no idea. Must have been like an early 90s thing. Hold on, let me see.
They were made in the early 90s. I don't remember them being supercharged, but...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, also, for anyone that hasn't, subscribed to my channel or anyone else in here that's watching, definitely you should consider doing that.
Here they are.
It'd be nice if our hosts put our channels in the description again, but,
Yeah, it would be nice.
You people were keeping me busy. I didn't have time to fucking do it beforehand.
There you go.
They'll be in there.
Like.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on.
You guys keep the show going. I'll put the damn shit in the description.
Those came
I've seen those
supercharged?
before. Charged, not supercharged, he said.
Is it turbocharged? I thought it was supercharged.
Oh, I thought you said it was turbocharged.
No,
Yeah,
it's supercharged.
Said super.
No kidding. I didn't know that. My neighbor had one of those. I didn't realize there was a.
Another topic for you guys to discuss while I do this.
I didn't realize there was a pocket rocket, man. I remember.
Are we just going to discuss how lame Jay is?
I remember my parents had bought one of those Oldsmobile Silhouettes with a really long windshield.
Hey, Sean, since I'm
And they had
lame,
a
maybe I
3.6
won't put the
V6.
link to your channel in the comments then.
He's already at
Say what?
4,000. He's good.
Yeah, true.
Hey, I wouldn't sleep in those Lauras yet.
I know. I have no trust in the fact that all those subscribers that are that they're not just going to go poof tomorrow. That is a big worry in the back of my head. I mean, just especially with the live stream I did the other day, and then today with it flirting with 1,000 subs off and on for like 2 hours. Yeah, I'm
What he hasn't realized yet is that 400 of those subscribers are trolls.
probably.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, you had 20 of them the other night, remember?
Hey, I love my
You're
trolls.
not helping my anxiety, Annie.
I love my trolls. I say, I have one, somebody.
You know what? As long as they stay subscribed, I don't care because they're keeping me above 1,000.
Oh shit!
Well, but you know what? Here's what trolls do. You know what they do?
Can I give you the bad news?
You know what
Look,
they do? They comment.
Exactly.
you're at 99.99.
Oh, are you kidding me?
I'm not fucking kidding you.
Oh, shit.
You're gonna float around there for a while. Don't worry about it. You still have plenty.
I needed to stay above 1,000.
It will. You'll get there. I mean, as long as you don't get a massive loss.
There's Gregory Salvatore, Novotaz, Venom GT87, Get Exhausted, and Import Domestic. Did I forget anybody?
And anybody else that's in the comments, subscribe to each other.
Yeah, do that too. That's always helpful for everybody in the comments that is a YouTuber.
There you go. We just shouted out. Why don't you just start shouting out some of the people that are in the comments?
You guys want to see a quick race that I did today?
All right.
I know I lost, but the guy, he took off before I could go. He was in a newer Charger. It's freaking hilarious. He took off before I could, and he edged me out. But I started to catch up with him. See here.
When Martini shows it.
It's right there.
Oh, that thing looks total performance.
I can't see
myself.
Hold on. Oh, the freaking camera went away.
You gotta keep talking so it stays on you.
Or just click on the image, or Jay could click on the image.
I just clicked on it.
All right, you guys
I just
ready?
clicked on the Martini.
Okay, Johnny Thini. All right, hold on. Shit, where the hell did it go?
No, don't
Give me a
shit.
second here.
Don't shit in my podcast. Nobody wants to see that.
No.
That shit stinks.
Okay. So
That's a shitty podcast.
it's real short, but I started catching up to him.
Did I just hear your car whine?
No, I thought it was Martin getting constipated.
No, I was just like, because I looked at him, and so I turned around and I looked at him, and I'm like, come on, let's do this. And he wasn't doing anything, and I was like, fuck, and I didn't take off because that little V6 on that Infinity, you have to like wind it up to get going, from a standstill.
Excuses.
But once it winds up, it really starts it starts to go.
See,
so
that's that torque versus horsepower thing from earlier.
So he starts to take off finally, and then I finally take off. So he's ahead of me by about a fender, and he starts kind of like, starts to increase his space slightly, and then I start to hit the torque band, and I start to close up on him. And then, by the time I got up to his fender, and I was about to pass him, we hit traffic, so we had to stop.
Hey, one of the guys in the comments was asking how many miles on a highway trip, what MPG do you think you can pull? And according to the Exit 5 right now, I'm getting 26 to 29. if I'm going on a flat section of a highway, I'll get 20s from between 26 and 35, which I doubt, but that's what the XFI is telling me. I know that I drove it to Florida and I got close to 24 miles to the gallon overall for the whole trip.
In what?
In my Grand National.
Damn.
That's pretty damn good.
You know, the Kia Soul that I drive gets about 27 to 28 miles to the gallon.
My Honda gets that.
Okay. Before we continue, XO-1 says that his first time over 100 was an 08 2.7 Charger at 16.
You over the crinkling
my
of the
GTO
bag.
when it was stock would get
Martini!
better gas mileage on the highway.
Martini, take the bag of
Put the
chips
food away.
and throw them somewhere else.
You gotta turn on the switching camera again because it's I've been looking at him eat chips for a while now.
You gotta click it on your screen.
No, it was my fault. I had clicked on Martin for earlier and I forgot to click back off of it.
Well, when you click on things, it doesn't do it on mine, but I just don't know if that's because I'm on a phone and not on a computer.
No, it doesn't. You control your own, but Jonathan controls the feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, let's see.
Anyway, I was saying that when my GTO was stock, I used to get better gas mileage on the highway.
Really? When your GTO was stock, you got better gas mileage. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Why? Because it's not pumping more fuel and more freaking. Never mind.
Hell, my girlfriend TJ's Corvette Stingray gets awesome gas mileage on the highway as long as I'm not laying into it.
How often does that actually happen?
Well, I mean, okay, get this. I live in Albuquerque, and we go to Lubbock, Texas, right? It's supposed to be between a 5.5 hour drive to 5 hours, right? We get there in 4. So you tell me how fast we're going.
If two trains are heading towards each other and both of them have banjos playing,
you're going about 20 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Try 30.
Oh, that's nothing.
That's probably because you had to stop for gas, so you got to make up for that time.
Actually, we only fill up once, to be honest. In the middle.
That's a lot of time. The amount of time it takes to get off the highway, get gas, you probably got a snack, and then get back on the highway is actually a lot of time to make up.
Yeah, but I make up the time by hitting 150.
Wicked Fabs has a good question for us. How fast were you going when you got your first speeding ticket?
What's a speeding ticket?
That's funny.
See, nobody here.
Technically, I have never gotten a speeding ticket. Failure to yield to traffic control devices, but I've never actually gotten a speeding ticket.
Okay, let's modify it. Pulled over. Because you probably got pulled over for speeding. The cop was just being nice and didn't give you a speeding ticket.
Exactly. Like I said, I've gotten pulled over for failure to yield to traffic control device.
He must have thought you were a chick with that long hair of yours.
Okay.
I have a long hair then.
Here's the thing. I've never gotten... I mean, I've gotten speeding tickets, but it was like 10, 15 miles over the speed limit. If I was any more than that, I've never gotten caught.
Okay, that same Escort that I was driving, if Greg knows where, what the fuck is it? It's right before you hit Exeter from Philly. There's a little town there, and the cop was hidden right on the other side of the bridge up on the hill. And here in PA, as long as they have reflective stickers on the side of their cars, they can go lights out. No lights, no running lights, no nothing. Out from underneath the bridge, I was doing 110. I came out from underneath the bridge, and my lights caught the side of that cop car. And, of course, the cop car lights up like a Christmas tree as soon as your lights hit it because of all the reflective stickers on it. Immediately, I downshift from drive into third and then into second. Freaking got his radar gun up and on my car, and I was doing 77. Like I said, that you don't touch the brakes because as soon as you touch the brakes, your car lights up like a Christmas tree because of the red lights from the brakes. attract attention to let the cop know that you knew he was there. So I just downshifted tried to try to lose as much speed as possible as fast as I could. And like I said, I got it down to 77 by the time the cop pulled me over. And the reason why I have never actually gotten a speeding ticket is because if you comply with what the cop wants,
And because your cars are
aren't an
broke all the
asshole.
time.
You aren't an asshole.
Because your car, what?
I said because his cars are always broke.
Fuck you.
Wow.
But if you comply with what the cop wants, you follow things up on the wheel, all of that freaking shit, car off, make the cop laugh, or you can at least, make the cop's day not so miserable. Most of the time, they may not let you go, but they'll give you less than what they would if you were being a dickhead.
I have to agree with that because I've been pulled over going pretty fast because I actually had a cop tailing me on an undercover car, and I tried to move over. He got back on my tail. Like a mile went by, I moved over again. He got back on my tail, and then I finally got tired of him, and I just gunned it. And I kid you not, it must have put at least 4 or 5 blocks between me and him, and then I got back down to speed. And next time he came up on me, he came up with the lights on, and he let me go. But then again, I do whenever I pulled over, I turn off the car, hands on the wheel, both windows down, and so on and so forth.
I do the same thing. In fact, I put the keys on top of the dash where they can see.
Yep,
I do.
And
exactly.
And I roll down
exactly what I do. That's the same
Exactly.
thing I do.
The more you make that cop feel at ease, and the more that you, when he comes up to your car, the more safe you make him feel, the more he's going to appreciate you, and he's not going to give you a hard time. He's just doing his job. He doesn't know you from Adam, and he doesn't know whether you're going to do something fucking stupid. So the more you can make him feel safe and show that you're not going to do that, the better off you're going to be in the end.
And to be honest, that only works about 80% of the 80% of the time, because I have been arrested 3 times, unfortunately.
Wait, hold on. We want to hear these stories, Martin.
Well, you've heard them before, but basically,
because we're only talking about speeding tickets.
Oh, I was speeding
excessively.
2 of those times I was.
And the third one?
The third one, I wasn't even speeding. The guy was just being a prick.
Well, you had to give him a reason to be a prick.
Not really.
No, I have to go with him. I had a cop in North Carolina. There was a bunch of cars just blocking traffic. I finally found a hole, cut through, and 90 miles an hour the whole way till I got in front of the pack. And some cop came out from behind a hill, and the guy walked over to the window angry already, like he was already yelling and shit. Like, yeah, I didn't have a chance. And he gave me a ticket and everything.
And I'll be honest, I'm not gonna be one of those cop hitting guys because I'm not. I like cops. Cops are really cool. In fact, I've had experiences where my friend and I were racing a 2008 Corvette in my GTO, and I got pulled over, and then he tells me, why are you racing a Corvette? Don't you know it's a Corvette? And then I told him, being a smartass, well, don't you know this has a Corvette engine too? And he's like, really? And then so I kept talking to him. He asked me for my license and registration. I handed it to him, and then I asked him about a particular officer that I know of, and on how he was doing, and did you hear about him? His wife having the baby and this and that. And he just looks at me and he's like, "You know that guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, he's like my neighbor and shit." And he comes back, gives me my stuff, and he's like, "Why don't you go race in Washington? Don't do that here because they've been confiscating cars." And then my friend looks at me and is like, "Did he just tell you to go race somewhere else?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I wish I would have had a GoPro capturing this, and I would have just blocked his face, but that would have been getting a ton of views if I would have posted that shit." But it was just the funniest thing ever.
Title it "Cop Tells Me to Race Somewhere Else" or something.
Yeah, that's exactly perfect. Perfect title. Yeah, and then the one time where when I first bought my GTO, I had the new sticker on the back. You don't have a license plate, just the temporary tag. I was hauling off in the freeway here, and as I passed this Impala, just wasn't thinking about it. And didn't realize it was an undercover cop, right? So I was going about $140 in my GTO, hitting 150 by then. And then I saw the lights, so I just pulled over anyway. He caught up to me finally after a few moments, and
after a few moments.
yeah. So he goes up to me, and the car's like brand new. It's gleaming, very beautiful car and everything else. And we're under the underpass, and he's like looking at the car. He asked me for my information. He's like, and then he steps back again and looks at the car, and he just tells me, "What the hell is this?" Because he said that he had gone 120 miles an hour, where the car was practically maxing out, and I kept putting blocks between us. I kept rolling him basically, and then I explained, it's a GTO. I just got it. I went from a 4-cylinder to this, and I apologized. I didn't realize how fast I was going, is what I told him. And he asked me to pop open the hood, and he looked at the engine, and he's like, "Holy shit!" and this and that, and another cop car on the other side asked him if he needed any kind of help. He told him no. He waved him off, and then he just gave me back my stuff, and he's like, "You be safe, man. Don't crash this beautiful car. I'd hate to see you lose it." And that's about it, I should have been arrested that evening, but nothing happened. I don't
know. The police in Florida are not that nice. I actually, when I was in Florida, like, cops over there, they're on a mission already. By the time they pulled you over for whatever they pulled you over, they're already tired of their day. Like, the only place where I finally ran into nice cops is up here in Maryland. Like,
let me ask you something.
What's that?
Isn't that where that other cop, or I think it was a sheriff's department cop, that arrested another cop?
Yeah,
because they were speeding in their
Miami-Dade,
patrol car.
Miami-Dade County got pulled over by a state trooper and got arrested. Right. Yep.
And they were in their patrol car on top of that. Weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
A cop pulling over a cop and arresting them.
You don't see that every day.
Yeah, no kidding. That's awesome.
Yeah, I heard about that story. That's a lot of respect for that cop that did that.
Hey, Wicked Fabs is asking, what's the longest burnout did you do?
Okay, the morning before I bought a brand new set of tires. That next day, they were gone.
The morning before. Okay.
Yeah. So basically, like in the morning, I had got new tires. That evening, by the morning, they were gone.
That sounds like my buddy's Istro's clutch when he bought his brand new.
And basically, I was like, because my brother, in fact, the burnout is still there. And that's like 11 years ago. And
holy shit.
Yeah. And it's very light, but because it's been years, but they were all drinking and they were egging me on, and I did a burnout, and I was like, probably woke up the entire neighborhood. And by the time I didn't even think nothing of it. I just lit it up right there, and then by the next morning I was just like, holy shit, I have no more rubber. What the fuck? I just paid like $800 for 2 damn tires because it was $400 a set, or per side for the rear.
Wow.
They were expensive as
realize
hell.
Drugs are less expensive, right?
Yeah, but drugs will mess you up, man.
So burning rubber.
It was an incredible fun evening, but I guess nobody will ever take that away from me, And luckily, no cop showed up, and I didn't get arrested for exhibition of speed. Oh, somebody just dropped off.
If he comes there and he says it was Novitas, if he comes and he says expedition, ask him how fast you were going.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, there was an officer when I first had my PT Cruiser when it was new, and I was in front of a club, and he had me do a sobriety test in front of a bar. It embarrassed the hell out of me when I think I was like 19 years old, because that's when my car was brand new. And he was just asking me why my eyes were red. And I'm like, dude, I'm home alone. My parents are in Mexico. I have a brand new car. Of course, I'm going to be out driving in the middle of the night, and it was New Year's. It's like, why wouldn't I? I'm not drinking. I'm not even 21. So he had me do this whole, sobriety test. I passed everything, of course, and he was being a total dick, but like I said, some officers are really nice. You treat them with respect. You pull over, you don't take too long to pull over, and you pull over in a safe place.
Yep.
And that's that cop that had pulled me over in the GTO told me basically, because you pulled over, even though, I mean, if you would have wanted to leave, I would have never caught you. I didn't even know what you were driving. You know, I didn't even know the color of your car. That's all I saw was the lights. You know, when you braked, that's how I knew where you ended up, because you were a few miles ahead of me. The only reason I can see is because you stopped. You know, your brake lights were lit up. That's the only reason I can see where you were. And it took me a long time to get there. So, you know, just for this sheer sign of respect, I'm going to let you go with the benefit of the doubt that you're not going to do this again. That's why he let me go.
Well, so Greg, what about you?
Longest burnout? I've never been one to do burnouts. Honestly, because I've always been more of I've never been a drag racer. I mean, when I would fool around the streets, I was always about the turns. I didn't my buddy had his dad's Cordoba, and that had like a 360 in it, and I had a 305. I mean, I couldn't catch him. So, but what I could do is beat him in the turns. And you don't want to be doing burnouts if you need to get through turns quick. So I really can't say I've ever done. I always preserved tires so that I had them for grip.
Hold on.
Yeah, I have to do burnouts regardless.
Yeah, they're fun. Are you sharing a picture?
I was telling one of the guys in the comments. I was telling one of the guys in the comments that this Friday, since I'm getting rid of my tires, I'm gonna be doing a burnout, and then I'm gonna put the new ones on, and then I'm gonna go. Actually, I'm not gonna go. My Stig is gonna go race.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, Street Speed.
in another Grand National.
That's what he calls it, streets. And then, you know what's funny? They be talking about the Stig going racing in Mexico, and it was Jimbo against Mike, and there's Jimbo's face as they're racing with the.
I thought that was hilarious. It's like, Jimbo, you do realize we can see your face right there, right?
it's like he's racing. There's Mike's car in the background, right here on the left, and they're going. Of course, you hear the engines revving and shit, and he's flipping between the two views that he has, and you can see him. It's like, oh god! And you said you had the Stig. At least blur out your face, you know.
Even though I think everybody can tell Jimbo from, well, like the way he dresses, just how he looks, period. You could tell it's him.
Yeah.
Even if you did blur his face, it's like, yeah, that's kind of Jimbo. We can kind of tell.
It's like with Mike, you see the shadow of him in the glass. When he's driving his McLaren or his Corvette, or whenever he puts the 55 miles an hour on the speedometer. And then he puts LOL on the bottom, but you hear the engine just roaring, just peaking, 6,500 RPMs. Wow. Yeah, 55.
And hey, Ignited Garage, he's in the comments right now. Even though I think we should probably end this, we have went way over hour again. Greg, do you ever think I'm going to get it around an hour?
Get it around an hour. I think you stand a chance.
It's a possibility.
Yeah, just
eventually
put a timer on it, and at 1 hour, you just click the button and the end.
Yeah, ejectocito.
Okay, Martini, ejectocito. No, I'm just kidding.
Jonathan and his big fat titties.